On August 1, the U.S. Senate voted 50 to 45 to confirm a controversial figure to a powerful post in American education. His name is Kent, and his appointment has already sparked heated debate across the country. This isn't just another government role. Kent will serve as Undersecretary of Education, a position that oversees billions of dollars in federal financial aid. His job will be to ensure colleges and universities across the nation uphold standards of quality, accountability, and access. But Kent isn't a name pulled from the ranks of public education reformers or academic thought leaders. Instead, his background is firmly rooted in the for-profit college industry, an industry that's faced repeated criticism for prioritizing profits over students, for inflating job placement numbers, and for burdening students with crushing debt and low-quality degrees. His ties run deep. This wasn't a quiet confirmation. It came on the heels of intense debate, with Senate Majority Leader John Thune pushing the nomination forward by filing cloture earlier in the week. And even before that, Kent had passed through the Senate Education Committee by a narrow 12-11 vote, without a full hearing, without broad bipartisan consensus, and without public input. To many, that lack of transparency is as concerning as the appointment itself. What does it say when someone with a career in a controversial sector is elevated to oversee the entire nation's higher education system? It says a shift is coming. A shift in how higher education is managed, funded, and held accountable. And it raises questions. Questions about what kind of vision Kent brings to this role. Questions about whose interests he'll prioritize, students, or the for-profit colleges he once served. Education Secretary Linda McMahon has defended the nomination, calling Kent a natural leader. She praised his experience. She applauded his concern for students. She insisted he was the right choice for this position. But critics aren't convinced. They see a revolving door, one that allows executives from profit-driven institutions to step directly into roles of public authority, shaping policy that affects millions. They fear a return to deregulation. They worry about weakened protections for student borrowers. They anticipate looser oversight for institutions with long histories of exploitation. For many, this is personal. They've lived through the collapse of institutions like Corinthian colleges and ITT Tech. They've seen what happens when students are left with debt and no diploma. They've seen the damage done when education is treated as a business, not a public good. And now, they see someone from that very world taking the reins of federal education policy. To them, it feels like déjà vu. It feels like a risk. It feels like a betrayal of what education is supposed to be. Kent's supporters argue otherwise. They say his industry experience gives him insight into how higher education works, or doesn't work. They believe he understands the bureaucracy, the financial complexity, the institutional pressures that shape colleges today. They say his past doesn't disqualify him. It qualifies him. But even within those arguments lies a quiet acknowledgement. This is a man with a foot in two worlds. One rooted in profit, the other in public service. And which world will guide his decisions? The undersecretary role isn't ceremonial. It comes with real power. Kent will help determine how federal aid is distributed. He will help enforce, or relax, rules that prevent fraud and abuse. He will shape the way accreditation works. He will influence how schools are held accountable for student outcomes. He will help decide what counts as quality in a college. Education. He will be in the room when policies are crafted, when budgets are set, when futures are decided. And the ripple effects of those decisions will stretch far. They'll reach first-generation college students trying to break a cycle. They'll reach working adults returning to school in search of better opportunities. They'll reach families stretching every dollar to pay tuition. They'll reach entire communities that depend on local colleges for economic survival. The stakes are high, and so is the scrutiny. Kent's confirmation didn't come with fanfare. It came with resistance. It came with worry. It came with a reminder that who we appoint to lead matters, not just for headlines, but for lives. Now, all eyes are on what Kent will do next. Will he prove his critics wrong? Will he center student success over institutional gain? Will he protect the vulnerable from deceptive practices? Or will he quietly roll back protections, loosen regulations, and let the market dictate the future of education? Time will tell. But for now, one thing is clear. The leadership of American higher education has changed. And with it, the future of millions of students may change too. Not with a law, not with a speech, but with decisions made behind closed doors. Decisions that determine who gets access, who gets support, and who gets left behind. This confirmation wasn't just about one man. It was